If you're a videographer or photographer looking to turn your passion into a real business, this might be the reason why you're feeling stuck. The truth is, being talented is just not enough. You need to learn how to separate the art from the actual business. What's going on? It's Tyree here, and if you're anything like me, then you got into this because you love creating. You love storytelling, capturing emotions, dabbling in your composition, and bringing ideas to life. That's what drives us as creatives. But at some point, if you want to grow and build consistent clients, and actually make money doing this, then eventually you gotta grow. And when I say grow, that means you have to learn how to balance creativity with business. In this video, I'm gonna break down your passion for the creativity versus the business and the actual logistical side of things. I'll also talk about time management versus perfectionism. And the last thing we'll talk about is client expectations. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about passion versus business. As creatives, we're passionate by default. We'll spend hours editing projects, adjusting colors, exporting projects, just to get things right. And don't get me wrong, the level of care is what separates good work from bad work, but here's the problem. Passion alone doesn't sustain the business. The business side, that's a whole different mindset. We're talking about pricing your work correctly, creating contracts, sending invoices, managing your schedule, communicating with clients, hitting deadlines, promoting your work and marketing. That's a lot of work. None of that is really exciting, but it's absolutely necessary. Because if you ignore the business side, you'll end up overworked, underpaid, missing deadlines, and overall burnt out, even if your work is A1. Time management versus perfectionism. One of the biggest struggles that creatives face is time management. When you love what you do, it's easy to obsess over the small details. You will spend an extra 3 hours tweaking something that honestly your client won't even notice. But in business, time is money. If you're spending too long on a project trying to get every minor detail correct, then you're hurting yourself. You need boundaries. Boundaries include setting clear timelines, setting a revision limit, and knowing when a project is completely finished. Because delivering a strong professional project on time is way more important than endlessly polishing something only you can see. Client expectations. Another major key is maintaining client expectations. As creatives, we get excited. We want to create something crazy, and sometimes we overpromise. But as a business owner, you have to think differently. You have to think about your time, your workload, and your capacity. Because if you take too much time or overpromise too much, you're gonna struggle in post-production. And now you're missing deadlines, and now your professional record is on the line. And that affects the trust between you and your clients. So it's important to really understand, first, how long will editing realistically take? How many revisions can you actually offer? How many projects can you handle at one time? When you know these answers, you can start communicating clearly from the start. And that's what makes the relationship smoother between you and a client. At the end of the day, balancing the art and the business is what separates the hobbyists versus the professionals. You don't want to just create great work. You want to create something that's sustainable, something that's going to pay you consistently, something that's not going to burn you out, and something that's going to grow. Keep your passion, but add structure to it, because when creativity and discipline combines, that's when things really take off. If this helped you in any way, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're a creative trying to grow your business, drop a comment. Let's talk about some things that you're struggling with as well, or some things that you feel like are your strong points. I can make a video on that next. So, all right, guys, on the next one.